Good afternoon. I'm still reporting on the coup. According to a surprising new survey of Canadians released on Wednesday by the Bank of Canada, a whopping majority of Canadians fear the new digital dollar that the bank and/or the Canadian Parliament is preparing to implement. According to the survey, many of these respondents did not trust the bank and other institutions to protect or respect their privacy. In addition, an overwhelming 92% said they would prefer to stick with good old cash money. Leave cash alone, they said. One particular comment struck at the heart of the government opposition to the 4-week-long Canadian truckers' strike, the Freedom Convoy, from January 22, 2022 to February 23, in protest of vaccine mandates because the Canadian government closed hundreds of bank accounts. According to the Bank of Canada report, one commenter said, "A digital dollar sounded great until we saw the federal government freeze private bank accounts of its own citizens for supporting a political movement it disagreed with. I have no faith at all in the system anymore." Others reflected the same distrust, saying they no longer trusted the bank and other institutions to protect or respect their privacy. The survey collected last week showed severe mistrust of the bank in that 88% of respondents said that the Bank of Canada should not even be researching or building a digital dollar system. In addition, 92% they would prefer the current payment methods. The responses demonstrated that the public had a good understanding of the potential pitfalls of the digital dollar, such as government monitoring of citizens' personal spending and banking information, and even the ability to cancel bank accounts in order to force compliance with unpopular government dictates. They felt that banknotes would continue to offer privacy and anonymity during transactions over the long term, no matter what the government of the day. However, the Bank of Canada has punted responsibility for implementation of digital money and the elimination of cash to the Parliament. If Canadians decide a digital dollar is necessary, our obligation is to be ready, said the Bank of Canada Senior Deputy Governor Carolyn Rogers. So what is the status of this digital money in the United States? According to Forbes Advisor, the U.S. is quietly edging towards the adoption of a digital dollar. Yes, you can emphasize the word quietly. In other words, the elimination of cash and a total takeover of the U.S. monetary system from relative security and privacy to a big brother approach of total monetary transparency and top-down control. In March of 2022, President Joe Biden issued an executive order directing the Office of Science and Technology Policy to prepare a report on the risks and benefits of creating a digital dollar for the U.S. This would be Obama's fondest dream for complete political control of the U.S. population. The Biden folks refer to this, the most draconian possible change in our monetary system, as the CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. It would replace the cash that you still today are allowed to carry around in your wallet, with electronic tokens similar to Bitcoin. But, according to Forbes, while Bitcoin is managed by a decentralized network made up of tens of thousands of participants, CBDCs are highly centralized assets managed by governments and central banks. Keep in mind, this is the fulfillment of Obama's threat to radically transform America into a Chinese-like autocracy where we the people would have virtually no say in returning the U.S. back into a republic. Political adversaries like President Trump could have their bank accounts frozen with the tap of a few computer keys. Once again, the feds are trying to sell this as a gift to the least wealthy, those currently referred to as the unbanked. Fed digital dollar accounts could be structured to have no fees and no minimum balances, potentially granting digital banking access to all Americans. Paul Farella, managing director of investment advisor Willow, said, A digital dollar could also make the job of the Internal Revenue Service cheaper and more efficient. But critics take a different view of the outcome. The government could potentially restrict access to funds or credit, implement negative interest rates on cash, collect taxes automatically, or eliminate physical cash entirely. The government could also monitor digital transactions and collect data on Americans' financial activities. Even Fed Governor Michelle Bowman has acknowledged risks of a governmental heavy-handed approach. I think it is unlikely that this group, the unbanked, would find the government somehow more trustworthy than highly regulated banks. According to Forbes, the Fed is already addressing some of the problems of slow and costly transactions by launching the FedNow digital payment system. The goal of the FedNow system will be to facilitate low-cost bill payments, money transfers, paychecks, etc. So that excuse goes down in flames. In March, Senator Ted Cruz reintroduced legislation to ban the Fed from creating a digital dollar system, which he says could be used as a financial surveillance tool by the federal government. Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has said a U.S. CBDC could pose a risk to America's Second Amendment rights. Democratic presidential candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. has said the government could potentially freeze Americans' digital dollar funds to force them to comply with arbitrary federal mandates. I'm still reporting from just outside the citadel of world freedom. Good day.